Sunday morning, rain or shine, gotta make the game on time. All week long, gotta train, 'cause I'm better than the rest. Alright, alright. Match to start, feeling good, rival team is raving too. On the field, think of you, trainer says some love tonight. Alright, alright.
Football crazy, yeah. Yes, I'm just football mad. Make the goal now, boy. Give the ball for me.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Solo Rush Soccer Report. We have a very special show coming to you live tonight from the studios of CTV. My featured guest here tonight is Ludovico Masucci, a former teammate and good friend, or I should say good friend and former teammate.
Good
And
evening,
also,
John.
as usual, Frank Tricomi, my assistant coach.
Good evening,
Welcome,
John.
guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for
having
coming
me.
on. So, guys, what's going on in the world of soccer? Anything new that we should get on right away? Any exciting?
What would you guys like to discuss?
Anything exciting right off the bat? That we should?
Well, right now we got the formation of the NWSL Women's League.
That's the woman you're talking about. The women's league coming in, and I think in the spring, right? When are they starting up?
Yes, I believe it's the spring. I believe that
Springtime,
they're
right?
taking 55 national team players to 8 different clubs, John.
Okay,
They're taking 23 Americans,
right.
16 Canadians, and 16 from the Mexicans.
So I didn't know that they had the Mexicans too. The girls.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What about the Brazilians? Any Brazilians in there?
No,
I'm
just as
shocked.
Mexicans. It doesn't.
I know they also have a college draft, right? I think the
Yes.
college girls are coming in to fill up the rest of the spots.
Yeah,
on
that's
those
what's
teams,
going to
right?
fill up the
Okay.
rosters.
All
You
right.
know, at this point, you know, some of the women and the clubs
Right.
had a preference as to where they went,
Okay.
so they did have some sort of input.
All right, hold off on the names for that. For you know, I think we have some bigger news right now. I think Ludovico here. You know, really, I didn't even know for 13 years now. You're coaching
Yes, I started coaching 13 years ago for FIAO,
For the
an
FIAO.
organization that you very well know, and
yes.
all the listeners out there. And my son started, well, my son now is 19. He started when he was 6 with Vincenzo,
Right.
a good friend, Vincenzo.
Vincenzo Toza that was on the show back in November.
And as all, let's say, organizations, they're looking for volunteers. And I started volunteering. My son started loving the game, and I got into the travel soccer. And the following year, we moved from FIAO. The entire team moved to the Brooklyn Italians travel program. And I coached my son's team for 4 years. Then Joe Barone took over that team, and I took over another team.
Okay.
And now I coach my third team with the Brooklyn Italians, and they're currently U13,
Your
and I
third
took them as a
team?
U10.
Your third team. Okay, so you dropped off the other two, right? This is your third different team,
Yes.
right? Okay.
I think the best, from my perspective, the best ages to coach is basically from 10 to 14.
Right.
I consider those years the sponge years,
Sponge.
where the young player absorbs the most
Absorb.
information.
I agree. I started coaching, not to get into my background, but I took the girls from when they were 5 years old. Can you imagine that? About 18 or 17 of them we had
Yeah.
when they were 5. And you know what? Long story short, they were pretty good. We haven't lost too many games, so if we're going to be judged on wins and losses. But as far as sponging, I think you're right. I think U10, that's 9 years old, right? U10 is usually 9. The girls are 9, right?
Correct. They're basically
They're
half
9.
a year from August 1st until July 31st. But now all the leagues, they're trying to convert, like the Europeans and the South American youth clubs, to a calendar year.
To calendar year.
Because in
Right.
Europe and South America,
That's what Frank, yeah.
everything is from calendar year.
Right, okay.
Because it gives everybody an equal opportunity. Because now basically you have 9, 8, 10 months for players at this age is very important
Right.
because they're going through puberty and they're developing. So basically, you could have a U11, U12 player that's very short and another player the same age that already so tall, and physically there's a huge difference.
So, what your opinion now? Take a 7-year-old, like a team that a U8, which is 7 right now, right? As far as trying to teach them the game, you don't think they're gonna absorb it as much
No.
as like a U9 or U10, right?
No, basically at the at that level, what should be the focus should be mostly on having fun, everything with the ball, and work on motor skills.
Motor skills, right?
And you have to understand that the attention span for a 7, 8, 9-year-old is very limited. After 20, 30 seconds, you lose them.
That's it, yep.
So you have to explain, you have to teach the game in a fun environment.
Fun.
Everything with the ball. No running, no sprinting, everything done with the ball. And they have to become familiar with their own bodies and their own motor and balance skills.
And less talking, right? 'Cause
Yes.
they're not gonna want to listen to what you're saying. They're
Yes.
just looking at the ball.
Well, it's basically fun because at that age, you, from my experience, from my perspective, I think you should start introducing the basic tactics when they're U10, U11, the introduction of the basic tactics.
All right, for the new coaches that are out there, say there's a guy maybe watching right now that wants to thinking about coaching. What's the basic? What should he do with a U5 team? Say like if he's starting up, or his daughter's 5 years old. What should he teach? What's the basic? Just
Basic technique.
like is that passing? You want
Basic technique on passing, ball control, dribbling,
touches.
shooting,
Right.
touches,
Just touching.
and then basically you introduce the mini games, and basically to make them have fun and just to enjoy the game and have fun.
Have fun.
And
yeah. I've
it's-
heard that a lot lately. Have fun.
Yes,
Yeah,
up to a
that's what they
certain
tell me.
age, because when a player reaches a U10 and U11, U12, not to pressure the player,
Right.
because after a travel player, reaches U12, U13, that's when the drop starts.
Really.
Pressure from the parents, pressure from the ambience, from the atmosphere, peer pressure, then of course puberty, other interests, other sports. So they start the teams start dropping. So even if you look at any competitive tournament around the country from a travel point of view, you'll see hundreds of teams, U8, U9, U10, U11, up to U13, and as of U14, you see less categories.
Right.
You understand? Less groups,
Less groups.
because kids start dropping.
That's
down.
my biggest concern. Like when these kids get into high school, 13, 14, soccer is not the most popular sport. If you're going to, we'll mention a school in Brooklyn, New Utrecht,
Right.
football, right? If you're on the football team, you're the most popular guy in the school, in the neighborhood, the cheerleaders love you. But if you're on the soccer team, who wants to know you, right? Same thing if you go to Madison or FDR or any of those big high schools in Brooklyn, right? So that's where my concern is, if at that age, to try and keep these kids focused or interested in the game of soccer. So where does the fun continue from? We said U5, U6, right? Now, do we have to keep it fun? U13, 14?
No, because after you reach U13 and basically U13, U14, as a travel coach with experience, and if you're coaching a travel team, an elite travel team, you will basically know if a player is interested in continuing or is going to stop. There is one thing that no coach in the world can teach, and that's love and passion for the game.
So
you cannot teach that.
at that
and
age,
the willingness to sacrifice.
So at that age, basically, if you're interested, you're going to play. If you're not, you're
Correct.
You're going to drop off.
Because
and
if
you're
you want to
gonna-
become an elite player and you want to compete in great leagues, and you want to compete and go to competitive tournaments around the country, you have to practice. You have to sacrifice yourself.
There's a lot.
You have to put the time.
It's a big sacrifice, yeah. So that's basically, in a nutshell, if U12, U13, you figure?
U13, right.
U13, that's it. No more fun and games. You get down to business.
Yes,
For
it's
the kids.
discipline.
Right, discipline.
Right.
and there's no fun. You're here to work, right? Practice,
Yes.
and
Yes.
then we'll see how it goes
Well,
from there.
me as a coach, I'm here to teach the game. If I coach a travel program, I coach an elite travel team, I'm here to teach soccer. I'm not here to babysit you.
Exactly.
So if the player needs a babysitter, the parents can hire one at home.
Exactly.
So basically, I think that the philosophy of an elite travel coach is the same like school. You have discipline, there's no fooling around. We learn how to play the game. We must pay attention, show up on time,
Right.
leave on time, practice a little bit extra. We need to sacrifice, we need to listen, follow instructions and directions.
Okay, so what do you do now? I'm just going to give a hypothetical here. You do have one of your players. He wants to play the game, loves the game, just wants to goof around one day. And you know how it is with kids. Once one starts to goof around, other one, it's contagious, right? So what do you do? What's your discipline for that one? For that one particular?
Well, basically, you have a talk with the team at the beginning of the year. What are the goals? What are the expectations? What are the rules and regulations? So players, they know the coach and they know his philosophy. So basically, you as a coach, just like a teacher in school, one day you cannot be soft, and then the next day
right.
you have to be hard. So you have to maintain always that same philosophy and the same structure as a team. So now you tell the players, guys, no fooling around. Once, twice, stop it. The third time, you sit
Right, right.
the entire practice. Then the following week, you'll do it again. 1 week suspension.
Wow.
Then 2 week suspension. Then 1 month suspension, and then you get
And
released from the club.
Then he's done. All right, so if he sits for a practice, does he miss any time a game?
Yes.
And he misses that game?
Of course,
the
no,
next,
he would miss probably half a game.
half
He
a
would
game.
not start.
He might start that game, even if he's a starting player on your team.
Right.
He'll sit
And
out.
even if, let's say, you suspend a player for 1 week,
Right.
and the player calls you the following day and apologizes, I'm sorry, you accept the apology, but the week suspension still
The
stands.
example has to be set.
Because then, right,
has
because
to be
then you're opening the doors to the other 14, 15 players to do the same,
Right.
and then you have to take them back after a couple of
And
days.
just so the audience knows, and we're talking on the travel team level.
Yes.
Not the rec level, obviously, because, the
Right.
rec, I'm a rec coach, and they're just stressing fun
Yes.
at whatever level, age group it is, just fun. We're here to have fun. But I have a question about that, and I think maybe Frank can answer it for me. But the Staten Island Soccer League has the standings, right? They keep standings. They keep wins and losses, right?
Yes.
If it's owing for fun, why are you keeping standings for wins and losses? I can't understand. If it was for fun, who cares what the score is of every game? Just let the kids play. You know what I mean? Can you have any answers for that, Frank?
I understand that, winning is fun.
Yeah.
And most kids will tell you that. I understand. I'm big on stats, so just
Yeah.
as well as you do, I do. I keep track of a U5 game. I don't care what anybody thinks about it. I like record keeping. I like looking back on my boys and saying, this is what we did. We won, we lost.
Right.
Hey, the first words out of the kid's mouth, most of the boys' mouth after a game, did we win? Did we win?
Yeah, I mean-
If they don't already know, when the team's putting 10 goals in for you or against you. You know it.
Yeah, the
They
kids
know how to
know.
count.
Sure.
So, but at the same time, I do understand at this point that it is supposed to be fun. The boys that I have, my son's team, are U6 now. I'm stressing fun. I want to just get an idea of where they like playing. This way it's fun for them.
Yeah.
Whereas last year I think I focused a little bit more on, let's play this game a little bit tougher. This team's tougher. Let's play a little bit more to win. And now I find myself pulling back a little bit and saying to myself, you know what, let's figure out, it's going to be much better in the long run if I figure out who likes playing where, who's good at playing where. So what? We give up a couple of goals here or there.
Right.
But at least we're figuring out who we are and who
Identity.
likes playing defense,
Uh,
who doesn't like playing defense, whose parent doesn't
Well,
want
don't
them
forget
playing
now. Don't
defense.
forget, he's dealing with five. Right? They're 5 or 6. They're
yeah,
little kids.
most of them are
They're little
5.
kids.
Well, at
so
that age,
At
yes.
this point.
At that age is basically fun
Yeah.
and fun environment and exercise. And also, don't forget that at 5, 6 years, 7, 8, they're also basically working on their social skills.
Social, yeah.
Verbal skills.
Verbal.
Basically, meeting friends, staying with friends, talking on and before the game. It gives them an opportunity to develop their verbal the skills and to basically be in a society. But at an older age group, whether it's rec or it's an elite team, I believe in competitiveness, because now these days, even in school, our children compete against other children in school projects or principals list or honor roll or president's list.
Something going on.
There's always something going on.
Yeah.
But at today's age, where I feel the parents of today, they pamper their kids to death. I just feel that sports gives the players an opportunity to fight for something for themselves that the parents cannot bail them out.
Right.
So basically, not to give up.
Right.
Fight for what you believe. You're down 1-0, you're down 2-0, you never give up.
That's right.
And hopefully you're able to teach that concept that if you do not give up on a soccer field, you're not going to give up in life. You're not going to give up in school. You're not going to give up in other projects that you will when you become a teenager and an adult.
As a coach, that's what you hope for. You hope what you're teaching them on the field, that they could bring it with them when they leave also, too, right? A little
Correct.
bit?
Yes.
You're hoping
it's, John, it's the psychological approach. I strongly believe that a coach has to teach the psychological approach to the game. Not to always believe in themselves. Try your best. Win or lose, give 150%. If you give 150%, walk off that field with your head high. You give it your best shot, and you're able to sleep tonight.
Effort, right? You give
Yes.
your effort, Frank. How
Yes,
many times have I said that
I
word?
mean,
How many times have you heard me say effort? If my team gives me effort, I don't care what
yeah,
happens.
right. So,
Correct.
Right?
Some of the best feelings I've had walking off that field weren't the games that we won 3, 4, 5-0. Some of the best feeling was when we won, when we tied the game 1-1 in the last minute or two. That gives you like the greatest feeling that
Because
they
you
came back,
escaped
they
you
didn't give
escaped the
up,
loss. Yeah.
You know,
It builds their self-esteem.
And it's
They
just-
believe in themselves. And they also need a coach and the parents, of course, to believe in them. And unfortunately, you have certain parents that brainwash their child. And after the game, they're driving home from the game. Oh, you should have done this. You should have never passed the ball. You didn't do this. You didn't do that. No, always positive. You did great. You tried your best. It was a great game. You had a great time. Always reinforce
I tell you,
positivity.
I wish there was a way we could put, like in hockey, the glass on the field where the parents stay behind the glass and they can't. No disrespect to them, but they're yelling at the kids. They're yelling, right? I have to say my thing when I'm whatever I got to say to get in position. I don't like to yell, and Frank can tell you because he's with me. I don't yell like some coaches, Ludovico. They, oh, do this, get it. If you don't do this, I'm going to throw you out of the game.
John, if we want to talk about parents, I think we need a 3-hour show.
What I'm saying is this. No.
That particular
What I'm saying
subject.
is, you got parents yelling, you got coaches yelling, and then you got the referee telling them, making calls in it. So who are they going to listen to? They have to be smart, I think.
Right.
Stay quiet. Let the kids play. Let the coach direct the team during the game, and let them play.
But now,
But
when you guys coach at a rec level, are the parents right behind you?
they're on the opposite side, but they're right
so
on top of the game.
They're right on top. Okay.
So they're yelling at their kids right there. They're right, opposite field, but they're still there. I want to put a glass that's right there behind.
And that's what we were talking about 5 minutes ago with the pressure.
Right.
And
Yeah.
they're afraid of letting their parents down, and they're
They don't
afraid they're
get
going to
it,
be yelled at after the game. And a lot of parents, they want to live their dreams through their kids.
Ludovic, I also referee, and I've seen a lot more since I'm refereeing now. For the past year, I've been refereeing games, and I heard crazy coaches, get off of my field, you don't know how to kick the ball, you didn't kick it strong enough, get off of my field. A coach is telling his player, come on, is that how you talk to a kid during a game? I was going to give him a call just for, for saying that, but it's just crazy. Like you said, a lot of pressure from not only, it's enough from the coach. And I think from the coach, they should get it, but in a respectful way.
Yes.
And
They have
right?
to look at their coaches as their mentor.
Right. So a coach should not be cursing a kid out or being nasty with a
No,
kid.
absolutely
you
not.
You get tough, but in a good way.
Yes.
If they're, if that makes any sense.
Yes.
But,
Absolutely.
The parents, like you said, they put a lot of pressure on it. But it wasn't for them. We wouldn't have the kids here. But they have to understand a little bit.
This is also, John, the culture in this country, unfortunately. Parents think that developing is being done through winning. So they feel that if their son's or daughter's team is winning every game, they are developing. If they're losing, that means they're not developing. Parents do not understand that up to age 14, winning and losing doesn't mean anything. The $3 trophy or the $2 medal doesn't mean anything if the player does not know how to stop the ball or pass the ball properly or understand the basic tactics. It doesn't mean anything.
And I'll be honest with you right now, and Frank could agree with me on this. I have 17 kids, and Ludovico, we've lost 3 games in 4 years. But out of those 17 kids, 4 kids carry the team. So what happens to the rest of them? They're not really pitching in. They're not developing yet. It's taking them a lot longer. So I got 4 kids that carry the team, basically. So, like you said, winning now. All the wins that we did, those other girls are not developing. They're not getting better. Just because we won all those games, it doesn't mean they're not good. Now, we took them out. The 4 good ones, they didn't come to my tournament. We put the other ones in, we didn't win a game. So what does that tell you? What is that?
Not everybody develops at the same time.
They're at a different pace. I understand that.
They grow at a different pace. They understand the game at a different pace, and then also you have certain players. I'm talking about the travel program. You have certain players that are naturals.
Right.
Others are book players, and that's the difference between the United States and the rest of the world.
Yeah. So
the rest of the world, basically, the Europeans and the South America, they can skip certain things in teachings. Here, even at an elite level, we have to start from the basic. We have to explain the game, flexibility, bend your knee, lock your foot, twist this, nose over knees.
Not too many natural players.
Not too many natural. In Europe, in South America, you can skip that because it's already in their DNA.
It's in them already.
So you can focus more on teaching more at an advanced level. Here you have to keep it basic up to a certain level. Now, like you said before, you have a team of 15 players. Now you have 9, 10 that understand, that are on the same page as the coach, and then you have 3 or 4 that are a little bit. So now you need to.
And the worst thing is, I'm on a rec level because my director doesn't really care about wins and losses. He just wants the kids to have fun, and which is right. He's right about that. But I got a new player now, 9 years old, never seen a ball before in her life. So I got to start backwards with her from day one. I mean, what do I do with the other kids? I mean, they don't want to go through the stuff that I did from day one, from when they were 5 years old.
It becomes boring.
So for them, for a lot of the kids, and I lose their attention. Well, I got to have 3, 4 coaches. I got to split the team up. Who takes the new guys? I take the experienced guys. So it's hard. And how am I going to get 3 coaches?
Then how many times a week do you practice?
Right now, 2 in the springtime.
Right, we
twice.
practice 2 or 3 times a week, but in Europe they practice more. In South America they practice
probably
more.
Almost every day.
But here, if you want to practice more than 2 or 3 times a week, you lose them because most players, students, they are involved in 3,000 other things. Who plays guitar? Who's in the debate program? Who does other activities after school?
I got to say, boys, it's got to be rougher. It's got to be a little harder for boys because there's baseball, football, right? Do you have boys on your team that play other sports?
No.
No? Really?
No.
Oh, so you're good then. That's good. I'm sure there's other teams that have multiple sports. That
Basically, in spring, they start losing a couple of players because they play other sports.
Baseball
and in
big.
summer, they cannot participate in certain tournaments because players.
With the girls,
play
it's
other
more
sports.
dancing, more dance recitals and stuff like that with the dancing. His daughter does the dancing. But I think with the girls, it's really not that much, just stick with soccer, I think. A lot of them are with the soccer. I don't think there's other multiple sports with girls. All right, you know what? Why don't we touch up, Ludovico, on a little bit about your past and how you got how'd you get the love for this beautiful game? How did that, let's go back. We're not gonna go too far back because you're not that old. We're not gonna go that far back.
Well, I was born in Italy, in Naples. I came to this country. I was 12 years old, and back then.
So just explain soccer. How was soccer in Naples? How did I'm sure you played when you were young, right?
Yes, basically that was the only thing we had was a soccer ball,
Really?
and back then we had to make. We could not afford to buy a soccer ball, so we made soccer ball with newspapers and rubber bands, and one pair of shoes a year.
Jeez.
And not now that they have 5, 6.
One pair of soccer shoes.
Yes.
Soccer shoes.
Soccer shoes.
Separate from the other shoes.
Right.
Okay. Right.
And if you lost the soccer ball, that's it.
Wow.
You didn't. A lot of times we got a soccer ball by buying the panini, the figurines, the players.
Okay.
That you had to fill the entire album, send it in, and they will send you a free. They will send you a free soccer ball. So basically, we played on the streets, and these mini tournaments. We played with the priest.
Right,
in
right.
church, he would, in order to keep us off the street, he would organize these games. And that's where all the former professional players, the Pirlos, the Baresis, that's how they started.
Yeah, sure.
Basically playing on the streets in Italy. Then I came here, and going to school, I met a couple of friends. Back then, I played for St. Dominic's.
St. Dominic's, right.
On 74th and 20th,
Right.
and we changed in Mike's Pizzeria in the back.
Right.
That was our locker room.
Across the street.
Across the street from
Yeah,
the church.
yeah, I remember.
Mike's Pizzeria is still
okay.
there.
Right. Yeah.
And then I played high school and played with various clubs in the Italian American Soccer League. And then I got into coaching after spending a few years on Italian radio.
Okay.
My son was born, and 5, 6 years old, I took him to Fiao. He loved it. He wanted to go. And then of course, Vincenzo asked for volunteers.
Sure, yeah.
And I started volunteering, and I saw certain things. I said, Vincenzo, why don't we start a travel team? And he said, Ludovico, be my guest.
Yeah.
Pick and choose. So I picked the players. Then I wanted to do certain things, but necessarily did not meet the criteria of Fiao. So after playing the first year in the Cosmopolitan League, we moved to the Brooklyn Italians. That's when I started coaching 12 years ago at the Brooklyn Italians. We were U9, I believe, and I coached them until they were U14. Then I took another team and started when they were U10 up to U13. And then now this is my third team with the
Brooklyn Italians. Let's expand on them. How many age levels do they have?
We have, I believe, over 15 teams, from U7s to U18s, plus we have a men's team.
Men's team.
We play in the National Premier League, which is under the umbrella of U.S. Club Soccer. Plus, we participate in various tournaments, and the U15s and U18s, during the Easter recess, they will travel to Dallas to play in the prestigious Dallas Cup, where you have teams coming from Europe, from Manchester United, Chelsea, Italian teams, and Mexican teams, South American teams. So it is the best tournament in the United States. Last year, I took my team. We were U12. We went to Arizona. We traveled there President's Week in February.
How'd you guys do?
We lost. We lost, but it was a great experience.
What did you play? 1, 2, 3. How many games?
We played 4 games, I believe. We lost 3 and we won 1.
Same age, right?
Yes, same age group.
The competition is.
Yes, the competition is out there. Plus, when you leave New York City, players, especially in the West Coast, they're more physical, bigger. And we had all city players. But it was a great experience, John. When you travel,
I'm sure.
When you go away and the kids are together, no parents, a week, it gives them that professional attitude, professional mentality that you're going to the hotel, 8 o'clock, everyone in the lobby, 8:30 breakfast, 9 o'clock, everyone on the bus. We go dinner time is 8 o'clock, lights out at 10:30. It gives them that attitude. Plus, they're on their own. They learn responsibilities. They meet other players, other teams, a little bit of sightseeing. So it's a great experience for everyone. Then last June, we were invited to a prestigious tournament in Rome, the Unipol International Cup. And I took the 2000s to Rome for 1 week, and we played against Benfica, Juventus, and there was Barcelona, Udinese, It was a team from Japan, plus a few local teams. There were 8 professional teams and clubs,
Right.
plus us, and then 4 or 5 of the local
How'd
teams.
you doing there?
We did
I
well.
mean-
We lost to Benfica 3-0 the first game. We lost to Juventus
Right.
because Juventus had won the first game, I believe 11,
This is
12
the
nothing.
Juventus junior team,
Yes,
right? Oh,
yes,
okay.
the
So,
2000s
I mean,
of Juventus. And we lost to Benfica 3-0. It was a great game. And then we beat Totti Soccer School, I believe, 4-2, which was also part of our group. Then we played against a Japanese team.